Hello there. Good evening, everyone. So, first of all, I would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas. From the bottom of my heart, I wish that this Christmas will bring you all the joy and happiness that you always wanted. You know, the good thing about these celebrations, whether it is Christmas or it is Deepavali or it is any other festival, all these festivals are opportunities of wishing each other, caring for somebody else's success, caring for somebody else's happiness. That's what makes such festivals worth celebrating, isn't it so? Well, so thank you for being here, whomsoever is watching this particular session live. So, just to begin with, what exactly we do here? Every Sunday, ideally every Sunday, or at 10 p.m., we come live and talk about one particular topic which is related to your career growth. We talk on various subjects which impacts your skill sets, both on the harder side and on the softer side, more on the softer side, and which can help you becoming a better executive, a better professional, and thereby it can help you to grow in your career, achieve all those career goals that you have made for you in the coming years. That's what we intend to do. Just a quick who am I? Well, I'm an author, a trainer, and an ICF certified life and executive coach. I like working with young professionals, helping them with the right tips to grow in their career. That's what I do. Yes, so as usual, I'll be requesting the same thing, that during the course of this particular talk, in case you feel like sharing your comments, your thoughts, etc., go ahead and put it on the comment section. I will try to show your comments live during this session. ओके, उसी के साथ हम लोग शुरू करते हैं आज का सेशन. जैसे कि मैंने पोस्ट में ऑलरेडी बताया that we are going to talk about job interviews today. Well, isn't it a very, very interesting subject and important too? Job interview. Now, let's talk about jobs first. You and I, whomsoever is in a particular job, हम लोग जॉब में किस लिए आते हैं? Because हमें we have to take care of our families. We have to take care of ourselves. So it is very important that the job which gives us that livelihood to us and our family, we give importance to that critical aspect of our life. And हमें उसी लिए we want success, we want to grow in our job, right? And therefore it is important कि जिस चीज में हम लोग ग्रो करना चाहते हैं उसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा काम भी कर लिया जाए. Isn't it so? And that's why we are having this session here. Fine, let me just check if my connection etc are working fine. I hope I'm clearly audible. Okay, so I believe I'm audible. So with that, let us go deeper into the topic, the next stages of the topic. The first thing first, now when we are talking about job interviews at this particular time of the year, एंड दिस टाइम एक बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक टाइम है, राइट? कोविड पेंडेमिक के बाद के टाइम है अभी. सो वी हैव ऑलरेडी फेस दोज 2 years of COVID situation. Now, when we talk about the job market, if you look at what are the things which has impacted the job market and what are the impacts of pandemic in the job market. So let me just check once again. Yeah. Okay, connection seems to be all right. Yeah, so coming back to the point that what is the effect of pandemic in the job market? The effect of pandemic in the job market, the first thing जो हुआ है pandemic के बाद, it has actually increased the competition. क्यों? Because you can work from anywhere. Isn't it so? COVID के बाद various companies have taken various decisions regarding uh, how people would like to work, and because of COVID related issues, many people were actually working from home. Now, after the COVID was over, some of the companies still wanted to continue that work from home option or work from anywhere option. With that, the competition in the market has increased because वो जो geographical boundaries जो थे वो अभी नहीं है. Now geographical boundaries ना होने की वजह से actually competition बढ़ चुके हैं, which means that say if you are in India, you are actually staying in a particular city and there is a job available in another city, it is possible for you to stay in the same city that you are in, but still take up that job of another city because the organization have work from anywhere option. So with that, obviously the competition in the job market has increased after COVID. Isn't it so? What are the other things that has impacted? The second thing that has impacted is organizations, when they're looking for people now in the post COVID scenario, इन लोगों को ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को एडेप्टेबिलिटी और फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी एक अलग सा रिक्वायरमेंट स्किल सेट के हिसाब से चाहिए कैंडिडेट्स में. Now, what kind of adaptability? Adaptability to adjust themselves in various kind of situations, various kind of job environment. उसमें क्या आप adaptable हो, क्या आप flexible हो, कभी अगर आपको थोड़ा सा एक्स्ट्रा काम करना पड़े, समथिंग आपको ऐसा कुछ काम करना पड़े विच इज नॉट योर प्राइमरी जॉब रोल, तो प्राइमरी जॉब रोल को छोड़ के ऐसा कुछ काम करने के लिए आर यू रेडी? बिकॉज इट माइट हैपन दैट this kind of pandemic situation, if it comes again, then it might happen that one of the employees may not be able to do their duty. At that time, if another person is available or multitasking capability is there, फिर उनको हम लोग ये वाला एक्टिविटी भी करा सकते हैं. So organizations will be looking for people जिनमें adaptability और flexibility ये दो गुण है, right? Now the third thing that pandemic has impacted in the job market is again another very important quality of the candidates that it is looking for is your communication skill and your social skills. अच्छा, ये किस लिए चाहिए और पोस्ट पैंडेमिक इसका इंपॉर्टेंस किस लिए बढ़ा है? पोस्ट पैंडेमिक इसका इंपॉर्टेंस इसीलिए बढ़ा है बिकॉज एज वी सेड, आई मीन जियोग्राफिकल बाउंड्रीज जो थे those have removed. Now because of geographical boundaries removing, you might have to communicate with people in different culture, in different countries. So your communication skill, the importance of communication skill has become very, very critical. So how do you communicate with people? How do you socialize with people at work? Because at your work, you have a mix of people who are working from home and people who are working from office. So you need to know when you're talking to a person who is working from home, you need to know the circumstances and environment under which that person is working. वो आपको जानना बहुत जरूरी है और उस हिसाब से आपको बात करना पड़ेगा उस that particular employee से. So इसीलिए आपका communication skill, social skills are again very, very important after the post COVID or the after the pandemic situation. So ये तो हो गया जॉब मार्केट के बारे में और ये हो गया जो changes that has happened because of the pandemic, the kind of newer skills that organizations are looking for. Now कुछ और कुछ पॉइंट्स जो इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हम लोग किस लिए ये डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, why we are having this particular discussion, why it is important. We are having this discussion today because another statistics अगर आप देखोगे, उस statistics क्या बताता है हमें कि only 20% applicants make it to the interview call. So when a job posting comes out from an organization, बहुत लोग उसके लिए अप्लाई करते हैं, राइट? नाउ जितने लोग अप्लाई करते हैं जॉब के लिए, उसमें से स्टैटिस्टिक्स बताते हैं that only 20% people are shortlisted for the interview round. बाकी 80% एप्लीकेशन वैसे ही कैंसिल हो जाते हैं, राइट? The second thing that happens in the job market, as per the research, it also tells that 30% of the interviewees are selected. मतलब अगर 100 लोग इंटरव्यू दिए, उसमें से 30 लोग सिलेक्टेड होते हैं, बाकी 70% रिजेक्टेड हो जाते हैं. Obviously, if everybody is selected, that's not an interview, right? मतलब आपको अगर 100 लोग चाहिए और 100 लोग इंटरव्यू में आते हैं, फिर तो the chances that you'll be taking everyone will be very, very high. So 30% of the interviews are selected. That means 30% of the 20% of the total applicants are selected. So why it is important? It is important to know that how you prepare and perform in the interview is very critical for you to get an opportunity in today's competitive job market. Another thing which you need to remember is studies show that within the first 90 seconds of the interview, recruiters make up their mind कि इस candidate को लेना है कि नहीं लेना है. Isn't that very funny? Oh yes, that's not funny. That's serious game. So your 90 seconds in your interview gives your lasting impression in most of the cases. There can be exceptions. And sometimes recruiters वो लोग तभी डिसाइड कर लेते हैं कि इस कैंडिडेट को लेना है या नहीं लेना है फर्स्ट 90 सेकंड में. So friend, so we talked about this initial part before starting the live talk, just to tell you the importance of job interviews and how competitive the job market is there today. कितना competition है आज के डेट में job market में, right? So obviously our topic for today's discussion, we are going to talk about 5 tips for a successful job interview. How do you prepare for a job interview to make it a successful interview? We will be talking about the preparation part. Interview में किस तरह से करना है, maybe we will cover in some other session going forward, but today we will be covering how do you prepare for a very, very important interview. Now interviews दो टाइप के हो सकते हैं. एक इंटरव्यू जहां पे आप you are applying for a new job in a new company, that can be one type. The second time could be in your existing company, आपको दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट में मूव करना है और the organization has advertised that there are positions available at a higher level for which you can also apply along with people from outside the organization. So एक within the organization कुछ opportunity है, उसके लिए आप apply कर सकते हो, और एक outside the organization, नए organization में आप interview देने जा रहे हो. So this can be two scenarios, right? So some of the tips that we'll be sharing today uh, may be applicable in both the situations, and some may be very, very particular to when you are applying for a new job, right? Let's jump into what exactly we will be looking into today. As I said, I mean, it can be a new job or a new role in the same organization. Now, the first tip for you, which is everyone knows, question is कितने लोग करते हैं उसको follow. So the first tip for you is you are supposed to research about the company, about the organization, and also the role. Not only the company, but also the role. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में बहुत सारे केसेस में ऐसा देखा जाता है कि ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ द इंटरव्यू the interview starts with the first question saying that, do you know anything about our organization, or did you read something about our organization, what exactly we do you know that? The intention of the interviewer is just to check on this particular point, that whether the candidate has given due respect to the organization and the role or not, right? अगर आपने organization के बारे में कुछ नहीं जानते हो, role के बारे में कुछ नहीं जानते हो, then well, it shows that you are not that much interested, you're not that much serious. It questions that seriousness, although अंदर ही अंदर आप शायद बहुत serious हो, but वो दर्शाता है कि आप में वो seriousness नहीं है. And जब आप कंपनी के बारे में रिसर्च करते हो, the support, the help that happens for you is that you know about the organization, in what kind of industry they are, what are the priorities, what is the mission and vision of the organization, what kind of culture they are in. जब आप ये सब के बारे में जानते हो, obviously that helps you in the entire interview process in answering to questions of the organization. Similarly, you need to know about the role for which you are applying. It's very important कि आपने खाली designation देख के apply नहीं किया. For example, if it is the position of a sales manager in a particular organization, you're not only applying for the sales manager position, but also for the role, right? Job description में I'm sure you have gone through कि उस particular role में what are the deliverables, क्या क्या activities, क्या क्या expectations है from the person who will be recruited in that particular position of the sales manager. तो आपको वो role के बारे में जानकारी लेना है. Because अगर आपको वो clarity नहीं है, again you will find it difficult to answer the questions that will be asked during the course of the interview. Interview में जब सवाल पूछे जाएंगे, आपको बहुत मुश्किल होने वाला है if you are not done that homework of researching about the organization. Now many a times I have seen that people say कि टाइम नहीं मिला मुझे रिसर्च करने का. वेल, इट माइट हैपन इन रियलिटी. कभी कभी हो सकता है आपको टाइम ना मिला हो, बट माय सजेशन वुड बी जितना भी टाइम मिलता है, प्लीज डू एज मच रिसर्च एज पॉसिबल. दिस इज वेरी वेरी critical. Now there is another research which actually tells us that why it is important, because 47% of the candidates are rejected due to vague idea about the role and the company. जब आप कंपनी के बारे में जानते नहीं, जो रोल के बारे में जानते नहीं हो, again at the initial part of the interview itself, you can actually be rejected by the recruiter, right? So that's why this is very, very important aspect. Well, friends, again repeating, in case you have any comments to share regarding these points, please go ahead and put your comments in the comment section, and then we will display your comments here, and then we will also take it up for a quick discussion point. Now, the second part, the second tip for you after you have done the research about the organization and the role also, आपको अभी अपने बारे में जानकारी लेना बहुत जरूरी है कि आप अपने आप को जानते हो. डू यू नो योरसेल्फ? सो प्लीज प्रिपेयर योर सेलिंग पॉइंट्स. आपके सेलिंग पॉइंट्स क्या है? इन द जॉब इंटरव्यू यू आर ए प्रोडक्ट, राइट? यस, यू आर ए प्रोडक्ट. सुनने में जैसा भी लगे, आप एक्चुअली प्रोडक्ट हो. जॉब इंटरव्यू में जब आप जाते हो, सो उस प्रोडक्ट को आप सेल कैसे करोगे ना? कोई भी नया प्रोडक्ट मार्केट में आता है, हम बोलते हैं ये वाला प्रोडक्ट, इफ इट इज अ हेल्थ प्रोडक्ट, इट्स गुड फॉर योर हेल्थ, नेचुरल प्रोडक्ट, ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट है, ये सब ब्ला ब्ला, ये न्यूट्रिशन है उसमें, ये प्रोटीन है, ये विटामिन है, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा, राइट? दोज आर इट्स सेलिंग पॉइंट्स. सिमिलरली फॉर यू, as a candidate for the interview, what are your selling points? Now, when we talk about selling points, the simple way to understand your selling points is your unique capabilities and skills, जो आपको differentiate करता है बाकी बंदों से, who are also candidates for the interview, right? So please prepare, list down those selling points. And also आपको और एक चीज जो करना है when you are doing this selling points का listing, हर एक selling point के लिए please keep an example ready. If you are a very good negotiator, आप बोलते हो कि मैं deals close करने में expert हूँ, so you are a very good negotiator. If you are a very good negotiator and that is your unique selling point, keep a few examples ready wherein you can actually showcase how good negotiator you are. So yeah, so that part is very, very important. Know your selling points and also keep your selling points examples ready so that you can share that with the recruiter, right? The third part, the third tip for you when you're preparing for a very, very important interview is don't underestimate this. Please plan your attire. आप क्या पहन के जाने वाले हो, उसके लिए आपको प्लान करना जरूरी है. I have seen many a times that people come for interview not fully prepared in terms of their attire. थोड़ा हरी भरी में आ जाते हैं. Now that's not a good thing. Now again, it when we are talking about the attire, हम लोग ऐसा नहीं बोल रहे कि आपको सूट पहन के हर जगह में जाना है. It actually depends on the type of role you are applying for, the industry type, the organization, its culture, etc., etc. So if it is a, for example, say very, very creative ad agency, हो सकता है उस क्रिएटिव एड एजेंसी में जब आप इंटरव्यू के लिए जा रहे हो, कैजुअल ड्रेस इज ओके बिकॉज दैट्स हाउ एवरीबॉडी इन दैट एजेंसी कम्स अप टू वर्क विथ. एंड ये सब आपको तभी पता चलेगा जब आप थोड़ा सा रिसर्च कर ले. तो इसीलिए हमने सबसे पहले बताया कि आपको रिसर्चिंग द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू, राइट? कि आपने वो रिसर्च किया है. सो अगर आप वो रिसर्च करोगे तो आपको वो जानकारी मिलेगा. इन केस you have some sort of doubt कि किस तरह का आपका ड्रेस होना चाहिए, then please ask the company HR, and I'm sure that they'll be clarifying that for this particular interview what kind of dress code is applicable. Now dress is obviously one part of it. Some of the other part of the process of your attire and your look, your presence during the interview is also important. And इसके लिए please ensure that you have a good night's sleep the previous night. नींद अच्छी होनी चाहिए. And I personally have experienced in some of the interviews that I have gone to a different city to attend an interview, and the previous night I did not sleep well, and that tiredness was visible in my face. So what it does is actually sucks up the energy and the enthusiasm जो चाहिए. जब आप इंटरव्यू में बैठते हो, आपके फेस में वो ब्राइटनेस, वो एंथुजियाज्म बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है एज ए पार्ट ऑफ योर पॉजिटिव बॉडी लैंग्वेज ड्यूरिंग द इंटरव्यू. एंड अगर आपका नींद पूरी नहीं हुआ पिछली रात को, देन वो टायर्डनेस शो करता है, एंड देन यू स्ट्रगल टू शो दैट एंथुजियाज्म, शो दैट पॉजिटिविटी, प्रेजेंटनेस इन योर फेस. तो इसीलिए ये बहुत जरूरी होता है कि आप ठीक से सोइए. Wherever it is impossible for you because you have to travel in the night, there are challenges. Well, in those cases obviously you need to find out some other way out. Maybe a strong coffee ले लीजिए सुबह, coffee chai, whatever you prefer to keep your energies up before actual scene start होने से पहले, right? Another thing which is, again, people sometimes ignore this particular aspect regarding your presence during the interview is maintain hygiene. उतना तो कर ही सकते हो, right? Hygiene maintain करो, personal hygiene. नाखून कटे हुए हैं कि नहीं, right? Whether you are groomed properly or not. बहुत सारा मेकअप के बारे में बात नहीं कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, but are you presentable, for the interview? Because as we said, I mean, जो फर्स्ट 90 सेकेंड्स हैं उसी में आप इंप्रेशन बना लेते हो विद द रिक्रूटर, एंड वन ऑफ द वेज ऑफ मेकिंग दैट इंप्रेशन इज योर अटायर, इज योर प्रेजेंस, इज योर लुक। अगर वो सही नहीं है तो ऑटोमेटिकली दिमाग में एक निगेटिव पॉइंट चला जाता है कि ये बंदा प्रोफेशनल दिखता नहीं है, ये हमारे कल्चर के साथ कैसे मैच करेगा। सो व्हाट, दिस पर्सन हैविंग अ वेरी गुड टेक्निकल नॉलेज, बहुत सारे स्किल्स हैं, बट ही माइट नॉट बी अ फिट टू आवर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस कल्चर, वो लोगों से मिलजुल नहीं पाएगा, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाई दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट। सो यू हैव टू प्लान दिस थिंग इन एडवांस। इसीलिए हम लोग बोल रहे हैं कि इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ द प्रिपरेशन फॉर द इंटरव्यू, knowing the organization, knowing the interview, knowing the culture, or talking to the HR, and then keep your attire ready well in advance, even before you go for the interview. So that's the third thing that you need to do. Well, what is the fourth part? What is the fourth tip that I have for you? Now, the fourth part, कभी कभी हम लोग इसको भी इग्नोर कर जाते हैं। रीड योर ओन रिज्यूमे फ्यू टाइम्स। आपका जो खुद के जो रिज्यूमे है उसको ना कई बार पढ़ लीजिए। ऐसा ना हो कि जब आपको सवाल पूछे जाए फ्रॉम योर रिज्यूमे, you are trying to look at your resume and then answer, well, this gives a very very negative impression, right? ऐसा नहीं करना कभी भी। this gives a very negative impression to the recruiter। इसीलिए आपने resume में whatever you have written, your journey, read it multiple times। the recruiter might ask you questions from your resume saying that, well, 5 years back you're working in this particular role in this organization, share me some challenges during that particular role। now हो सकता है वहां पे आपने कुछ अपने स्किल सेट्स लिखे होंगे। नाउ जब आप चैलेंजेस के बारे में, whenever sharing your challenges that you faced in that role in that organization, it should be connected to the skill that you have mentioned there in your resume, right? You should not be talking something else which is not written over there। तो इसीलिए ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप खुद के रिज्यूमे को जानो और पढ़ो multiple times to be 100% sure what is written there, what you submitted to the organization, based on which your interview will be taken। Now, coming to the fifth tip, the fifth tip is nothing but you need to practice। I'm writing that term 3 times just to tell you the importance of it। Now, कभी कभी होता है कि हम लोग ये बोलते हैं, अरे मुझे प्रैक्टिस की क्या जरूरत है, आई हैव बीन देयर इन द जॉब फॉर द लास्ट 20 years, आई डोंट नीड अ प्रैक्टिस। वेल, यू आर राइट, यू डोंट नीड अ प्रैक्टिस द वे अ फ्रेशर रिक्वायर्स। एक फ्रेशर को जिस तरह की प्रैक्टिस चाहिए उस तरह की प्रैक्टिस आपको नहीं चाहिए। अंडरस्टूड? यस, फॉर अ फ्रेशर उनको शायद अपने दोस्तों के साथ प्रैक्टिस करना पड़े, अपने फैमिली मेंबर्स के सामने प्रैक्टिस करना पड़े, इंटरव्यू, मॉक इंटरव्यू सेशन, एक दो मॉक इंटरव्यू सेशन लेने पड़े। आपके लिए वो जरूरी नहीं है, because you are an experienced person, you are there for 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, you have been in so many interviews, but still little bit of practice is important। आप क्या कर सकते हो if you are an experienced person? So practice with yourself, मिरर के सामने प्रैक्टिस कीजिए या अपने मन में प्रैक्टिस कीजिए। Or you can also take help of a mentor and practice with that mentor। Why it is important? Yes, it is important because the job you're applying for, you truly want that job, right? आप ऐसे ही घूमने के लिए नहीं जा रहे हो इंटरव्यू में, आपको वो जॉब चाहिए, इसीलिए आपने अप्लाई किया। Provided that job is very very important, very critical, and you want that job, it is important that you prepare for that interview। And for that, practice when you do, it will actually tell you that what are those areas which you need to correct, wherein some little bit of fine work is needed। Possibly that might be related to sharing some examples of your strengths, sharing some examples of challenges that you have overcome। So when you do that practice, and sometimes you can also write it down, some of the questions in most of the interviews are very common in nature, So at least for those common questions, you can prepare your answers well in advance, so that जब actual interview हो, आपको ज़्यादा सोचने का ज़रूरत नहीं पड़े. Now, friends, believe me, whether it is your current organization or it's a new organization, many of these tips that I have talked about, थोड़ा सा रंग बदलेगा इधर उधर, but it will be applicable. For example, if it is the same organization that you're applying for another department or a higher role, even there also practice is important. Even there also, I'll tell you that reading your resume is important, because you are actually remembering yourself, your entire journey in this organization and possibly before this organization. हो सकता है the job that you are applying for in another department, you might have already done that role in your previous organization. So therefore आपके resume में अगर वो लिखा है, then उसको आपको पढ़ना जरूरी है, so that you can share some good examples of how you utilize your skills in that organization. So yes, these are the 5 quick tips for you to prepare before a very, very important and critical interview, which will take your career to the next level. In another video, in another talk, we'll be sharing about interview को किस तरह से face किया जाना चाहिए. What are some of the tips how to face an interview, rather not prepare. So here we talked about preparation, yes, but how to face an interview, that will be covering in another topic. Well, friends, so it was great to talk to all of you here. Whomsoever was live and present here, thank you for your presence. Whomsoever will be watching this video, the recorded version of it, thanks to you also well in advance. Feel free to share your comments, and I'll go ahead and respond to each of your comments. Thank you so much. In case you find this video, in case you find this talk useful, and you think that your friend or family member who is preparing for an upcoming interview can be benefited, please go ahead and share this video with them. So once again, a Merry Christmas, and I wish you all the success and joy of this world to come on your way. Thank you so much for being here. Take care. Good night.